Oh, hello everyone. I am Reggie, and yep, gonna try to make another video. So, I have not made a video in 3 months. I just realized that, and today I am downstairs on my couch with my super cute camo couch cover because it is crazy hot upstairs where my rocking chair is, and I just want to be comfortable. It's actually 4 o'clock in the morning, and I figured I would just give this a try because hopefully it will be quiet at this hour. So sorry guys that I've been away, but I have not been well, and that's kind of one of the things that I want to talk about in this video. Like I mentioned in my last video, in order for me to actually make one, I have to be well enough to make it, and I have been struggling a lot just with my energy, and my physical disability has been excruciating and very debilitating. And I've also had some personal things going on in my family that were really hard. So it's been a tough 3 months, but I'm glad to be back, and hopefully I won't go this long again without making a video. I can't promise that though, because I do get very incapacitated, and so I'm just grateful whenever I can make one for you guys. So today I am thinking about talking a little bit about autistic burnout. There are a lot of videos on burnout now, which is really awesome, because it's not a topic that people understood or that people were really even aware of at all until very recently, when the autistic community started talking about it. It's not something that is really medically known yet, and yeah, it's kind of tough because as autistic people, we have been dealing with it for pretty much our entire lives in one way or another, and it's a shame that no one ever really acknowledged it or understood it, but I guess I'm glad that they're starting to get a clue now. So, like I said, there are many content creators who are talking about it, and I encourage you to check out all of their videos. But I want to talk about how burnout kind of affects me, and I want to talk about things that I have not really heard other people talking about yet. And we know that kind of a general understanding is that burnout occurs when the expectations that are placed on us are unrealistic and they're just too high and we can't meet them, but we make all kinds of efforts to meet them and we're just unsuccessful, and eventually our brains just kind of stop functioning, and we just kind of have these neurological collapses. Now, they can be incredibly serious. They can even be life-threatening when they become very serious. They can cause loss of functioning that can be permanent, or it can be temporary, but in some cases you might lose functioning in some areas and never be able to regain the amount of functioning that you had before. Sometimes you can make a full recovery if your burnout is not too severe. So it is very important that we are very careful to monitor our individual symptoms and understand them, and to really try to control our environment as much as we can, so that we don't end up having these severe burnouts that can be crippling and have lifelong effects, or that could even, in some superbly extreme cases, actually cause people to lose their lives. This is not something to be played with. It's not something to be considered lightly. It's something that you really have to keep in mind, especially if you have autistic children, and you have to really monitor how they are affected so that you can protect them from some of these consequences rather. So I noticed for me, and I'm hoping that some of you guys can relate to this stuff and comment if you do, and even comment if you don't, because I am always interested to learn when people are different than I am, and also when we're similar. But for me, one thing that can really affect me, which is something that I haven't heard people really talk about, is how people speak to me, how they interact with me in a conversation or in a social situation. When we think about burnout, a lot of times people think about their jobs or even their schools and the kind of work that they have to put out and the kind of effort they have to put into. And even they even talk a lot about things like masking, which is definitely a burnout issue. But it's not often that we specifically talk about what exactly is going on to create that kind of dynamic. And one thing for me that really, really affects me when it comes to things like burnout is when people are gaslighting me or when people are invalidating my experience. That is absolutely huge. What that does is it causes me to respond in a way that I have to justify my existence. And when you are constantly having to justify your existence, and when you're constantly having to defend your right to exist, the energy that it takes to do that is so much more than we realize or than we anticipate. And it causes a kind of draining that we don't even realize is happening. And that constant need to do that over and over and over, sometimes I find that I have to do it almost every single day, depending on conversations that I might be having. You know, you find that you're doing it like in one way or another to different degrees on a near daily basis. the kind of damage that that can do, it's truly an area that needs to be studied and that needs to be understood. I'm finding that that kind of invalidation, gaslighting, having to explain my life, my existence, I believe in my personal case, now I can only speak for myself, but I believe that I'm actually experiencing neurological damage from that. Now, it hasn't been able to be proven yet in medical testing, but I know my own body. And the things that are happening, which seem to be neurological, and I do have a neurologist, and I do have people who understand neurological, physiological things, and I do talk to them very, very deeply about this stuff. There seems to be a neurological component, and I am now struggling more and more with things like just being able to walk across a room and not fall over, or being able to have certain types of cognitive functioning, which I'm noticing is getting more and more difficult. Certain kinds of social situations, I do not believe I have the tolerance for anymore, or the social stamina for anymore. And I believe that a lot of these things are a result of autistic burnout. So when we're talking about skills that can be lost, we're not just talking about skills like being able to tie your shoes, or being able to speak, like how we can become situationally mute or things like that. I mean, those are all very important, and those are all very valid and very real, and they're things that we can't underestimate the effect of. But we also have to start to think about things that are much more neurologically critical. I am now finding that there are times when I am literally having difficulty consciously being able to know how to breathe. That's really important. That's not something that I can just go, oh, okay, I'll regain that skill eventually. And so when I'm starting to be affected in ways like that, and because there's so little research done on the subject, I can't for certain say that this is because of burnout and nothing else is going on with me or something like that, because we just don't have enough research on the topic yet. But I don't want to dismiss the fact that I personally believe that autistic burnout can be that serious or that significant. And again, these are conversations that I am having with my neurologist and my therapist and my doctor. So it's not just me thinking this without any kind of support or any kind of other feedback. But the reason I want to share this with you guys is because we have to start thinking about things like autistic burnout much more deeply than we do. This area has to be really researched, and as autistic people, we have to really understand our bodies and become self-aware in ways that we might not be used to. And it's really important that as a community, we start to really talk about these things in a very deep way, because we are the ones who are on the forefront of this research. We are the ones who are bringing this to light. No one has ever understood or researched this before. So, as the front runners in this area, we have to be as vigilant as we can, and we cannot leave any stones unturned, because we don't know how deep this can go. We don't know the kind of damage it can do, and we don't know how many lives could potentially be lost because of something like this. So let's start a dialogue about this, and let's get as deep as we can with it. As I learn more about how I believe I'm being affected, I will make more videos about it. But yeah, I really believe that I'm having some very interesting neurological changes in my body, and I believe that they are directly related to the effects of autistic burnout. So hopefully this will be an ongoing saga. So thank you so much, and I'm sorry that this video was a long time coming, and yeah, I hope to make another one very soon. So peace out, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.